Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Good morning, Descendants and Zombies universe. It is only 8:50 a.m. and I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke, your voice of Descendants and Zombies. And as you can tell through my window, it is very dark and very spooky out this morning, which means a zombie apocalypse could happen before anything else ever happens today. I will keep you updated on that, but I am prepared. Yesterday I went to the dollar store and picked up the necessary essentials, as I do once weekly: food, medical supplies, water. So I just want to put it out there that if there is a zombie horde headed towards my house, I'm going to kick your ass and get you before you get any of us, because I cannot allow you to take these beautiful fans away from me that have supported this YouTube channel from the very first video that's been uploaded. So if you have a problem with them, you got a problem with me. And now with mermaids on their way to settle in Seabrook for Zombies 5, it is making for a very exciting time to be a fan of zombies, because I've been a huge fan of mermaids all of my life. I, for one, am really excited to see mermaids settle in Seabrook, along with whatever else is inside of that vortex, with people so early on making predictions. Not only just mermaids being suggested for this one, also pirates, sirens, witches, who are beautiful, innocent creatures in their own right. Everything beautiful and innocent could exist inside of that vortex, and I'm really excited about it. I've been a fan of Supernatural all of my life. And I know I drink tea out of a Mickey Mouse tea mug every single morning, and my opinion about zombies is probably one that you should never consider. But the thing is, I have been a big fan of Descendants and Zombies for forever. And because we share in the same passion, we are here because of our love and support for Descendants and Zombies that is never die, never say quit. And I think that is absolutely beautiful, how so many people believe in Descendants and Zombies, so much so that it's Descendants or Zombies or die. And it has made this podcast the most popular Descendants or Zombies podcast in the entire universe, if not the galaxy. You know, I was always a big fan of the multiverse. When Marvel introduced the multiverse, when many of you checked out, I checked in because I thought it was a time that times were changing for Disney. And I couldn't have been more accurate on my assumption, because not only did the times change with the multiverse being introduced, also Disney introduced sci-fi musicals. And Zombies was one of them. And Zombies went on to captivate us for over 7 years with the powerful story, the powerful music, and I have been a fan of Zombies ever since. And I have been just as big a fan of Descendants, because Descendants' music got beautiful, more beautiful than ever before, by Descendants 4: The Rise of Red, which made me even more excited to hear the music for the Descendants 5 soundtrack, which reportedly is going to have a remix of Life is Sweeter With You Are, with Leomani Segura and Kylie Cantrell lending their voice to the song that was originally performed by Ruby Rose Turner. On this very dark and creepy morning, I wish I knew where Ruby Rose Turner was out in the world, because I would be on my way to Ruby, because Ruby helped me make sense of my own life and inspired me to be a better person. And that's the truest words you're ever going to hear from any of the podcast hosts out there, is that Ruby was just a genuinely kind soul. And I miss Ruby. Ever since I heard Ruby was going to be parting ways with the Descendants franchise, I wondered, how can they do Descendants 5? Because of Ruby's powerful message of how kindness really does go a long way in this world. And one never knows how far kindness can go, or how far it can reach a person's heart, until you try to spread a message of kindness. And I'm not just talking about spreading a message of kindness, making a consistent effort to spread a message of kindness every single day of your life. That's what I wanted to convey with this show, so that people like Kylie and Ruby knew that the support was out there for them, when sometimes it seemed like they could never make sense of their own life. And I can't blame them for feeling they were in those positions, because in all honesty, there are a lot of critics out there on YouTube who will tear them down from the very beginning. And I think that, it's totally unnecessary when people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner will not Google themselves because they're afraid of what they're going to see. I went through that when I was a teenager, because I was podcasting ever since I was a teenager, and everybody used to watch my show years ago. And after they'd watch my show, I would go online and I'd read some of the most ridiculous reviews that people would post about my show, telling me that my show was ridiculous, my show wasn't really making a whole lot of sense, because I was talking about a lot of different niches, whether it be video games or movies, what have you at the time. Years ago, I went through the same kind of thing, and it wasn't really fair, because people weren't giving my show a chance. And this is the first niche in over 25 years that's really fallen in love with my reviews of Descendants and Zombies, which I'm incredibly grateful for, because without you guys, this show wouldn't exist and Jonathan Clarke wouldn't be here. You guys really brought me back from obscurity and gave me a second chance. And because now my voice is being heard more than it's ever been heard by thousands, I have each and every one of you to thank for that. And over 50,000 plus views, 3,000 subscribers, and over 2,000 plus watch hours being the latest accolade. Thank you guys so much for that. Because when you could have quit on me, you didn't. And some of the very first subscribers that I have are still here. And, sometimes when I record videos, you'll hear me get very emotional about it. Because the thing that I share with you guys is a passion and a desire to create Descendants and Zombies videos. Because when I tell you that I love Descendants and Zombies, Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, whom I'm forever supportive of, I really do mean that I love Ruby Rose Turner and Kylie Cantrell, and I mean it because I will never turn away from them. If Ruby Rose Turner called me this morning and asked me for help, I would give it to her. If Kylie Cantrell called me and asked me to show her kindness, I would. And I would shed light on things that they could never make sense of, which I know they can't. Because if Kylie Cantrell could make sense of her own life, Kylie Cantrell wouldn't be crying on videos that she's uploading on TikTok because she wants her voice and her opinion to be heard and wants you guys to know that she feels sorry for some of the things she may have said. Regardless if that's referring to her fans as cuties, which I see nothing wrong with, her political point of view being blown out of proportion, which is absolutely ridiculous. Kylie, I want you to know that all these fans are here on this YouTube channel not because of me. These fans are here on this YouTube channel because of you. They're not fans of me, they're fans of you. Although probably there is somebody out there watching these videos who watched me for the last decade, I really don't know. And probably there are people who subscribe to this show because they're fans of me and they love hearing me talk about Descendants. But the logical explanation that can be drawn and the biggest assumption that could be made is that they are here because of you. And because they are here of you, I am not going to criticize you. I am going to build up your confidence to the point where you will post more videos again, where you will keep performing, and you will perform at the highest of your ability. Because the thing is, Kylie, we need this in our lives. This morning I signed on to my Facebook page, and the first thing that I saw was Kylie Cantrell posting her latest dance video. I don't know what the song was that Kylie Cantrell posted, but I know that Kylie Cantrell was having the time of her life, and that's what I like seeing Kylie Cantrell doing, as opposed to crying all the time. So the more that we see that, and the more that we can encourage that, to let Kylie know that she's doing a beautiful job at whatever message she's trying to convey, I think that more podcast hosts should jump on the Kylie Cantrell bandwagon and support her. And give me more incentive to create Kylie Cantrell videos. Because the thing is, Kylie Cantrell needs the love and support. Because here's the thing. Kylie Cantrell's showing all of us love and support. So why can't we just show the same thing for Kylie? Kylie deserves that. If Kylie's deserved anything in her life, it's the love and support from her friends, the love and support from her fans. And I think sometimes, you can criticize me all you want, but I just think that she doesn't get it. And because she doesn't get it, my heart goes out to Kylie Cantrell. And if there's one guy out there that supports her, it's going to be me. And if there's one guy out there that supports your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars, it is going to be me. Even if it means I have to live in a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant for the rest of my life, which I've said here yesterday I have no problem doing. Nor do I have any problem with creating Descendants and Zombies videos for the rest of my life, because I know people love this show. That's the thing. If I was talking to a niche that didn't support my views, I don't know how I'd feel about it. And I've talked to a lot of niches that never ever did support any view that I had. But you guys, you've loved me from the very first video that was uploaded on this YouTube channel, and I have each and every one of you to thank for that, because it shows. The analytics of this YouTube channel don't lie, with over 50,000 views in 3 months. That's crazy. That's like 10,000 views every month on this YouTube channel. And yes, I know I live in a haunted house where there's a lot of banging, and things go bump in the night every single time. I'm dealing with a lot here. And you guys have helped me through a lot of precarious situations in my life that I could never make sense of. When I was on syndicated radio years ago, I would be talking about a lot of things that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And, I really felt like my career was headed in a direction I didn't want it to be heading in. The biggest issue I had was that I couldn't be myself. So if I wanted to jump on my podcast and talk about a zombie apocalypse, I couldn't. But after going out independently on my own and shooting my podcast from my own house, if I want to get on here and I want to talk about a zombie apocalypse and make it believable that there's a chance that it could happen, at least I know I can do that, and I can be myself by doing that. I don't want to be like these other podcast hosts that just review Descendants for the sake of reviewing Descendants and get paid thousands for doing it because their channels are monetized. If I'm going to talk about a zombie apocalypse, I'm not going to believe the scientists who say there's no chance of it ever happening. I'm not going to buy into the idea of how, the chances of a zombie apocalypse happening are second to none. I'm going to encourage it, because the thing is, I've never ever wanted to take away someone's hopes and dreams, because I know that there are people out there in this world that do love Descendants and Zombies so much so that they really want to believe there's a chance of this existing, that they have a chance at forever, that one has a chance of finding true love, because I really do encourage that. I went to my high school prom when I was 18 years old, and I thought it was going to be the greatest night of my life. Not because I had no date. I just wanted it to be the best night of my life, and I made sure it was. I know on that night I back body dropped somebody into a fountain because they got on my nerves, because they asked me to move when I was sitting down by this beautiful fountain. I was at peace with myself, and this guy comes over to me and he says, "Can you move?" And I'm like, "Man, I got no date." And he said, "I asked you to move so I can sit here with my girlfriend." He sat there with his girlfriend, all right, but probably not the way he wanted to. But the thing is, I went to my high school prom under the most bizarre of circumstances, and I had the time of my life. And I like to believe that through these videos, I've inspired you that regardless of how you're feeling on the night of your high school graduation, which will happen for you this year because school starts next week, I like to believe that I inspire you, that I've encouraged you enough that you can go to your high school prom with or without a date and still have fun with your friends and still have the night of your life. Because I've seen Ruby Rose Turner called the prom queen, and it reminds me all the time of my high school prom and how disastrous it was. But I like to believe that what happened to me 20 years ago will never happen to you, and you will have the best night of your life, and you will find your true love no matter how long it takes you. And you will also achieve every single dream that you've ever wanted to set out to accomplish, because a dream starts with a goal, and a dream starts with a wish that only your heart can make. You know, the truest words that were said by a Disney princess was Cinderella 50 years ago, when Cinderella looked at us all and she said, "A dream is a wish that only your heart can make, regardless of what that dream is." And even with the help of mice that help her knit a gown that was over 45 minutes the length of a fabric, Cinderella got the chance to go to the prom or the ball, and she fell in love with her true love and found Prince Charming. Just because Disney is putting it out there does not mean that that can't happen for you, because it can. And that's why we see these beautiful stories between Ariel and Eric, Cinderella and Prince Charming, Aurora and Prince Philip. We see this because it is the reality of life and just how far you want to push yourself to get that dream to become a reality for you. You know, the thing is, there is no greater honor that I've ever had in my life to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and talk about Descendants and Zombies and things like the Disney Princess original lineup and Disney Princess classics, because I know it touches your heart. Even though you don't tell me or you can't tell me, I know these videos do touch your heart and they do offer you inspiration. And that's why these videos are the #1 videos on YouTube right now for Descendants and Zombies, because obviously the VK kids were drawing inspiration from the Disney Princess lineup from years ago. I mean, of course, you had Mel and you had Evie, who had no backstories whatsoever, and really Red had no backstory either. Although there was an extensive story for the Queen of Hearts, Red herself had no backstory, and she had very little to work with. So I think that Kylie Control receiving criticism is just absolutely unacceptable. And if she's receiving anything, it should be positive reviews. And I don't get that from the podcast interviews that Kylie Control does. No matter who she's doing a podcast interview with, Z100, Zach Zang, whoever. And it's beyond me why some of these podcasts are the #1 podcasts in the world for how they do such lackluster interviews. They don't ask Kylie Control what she wants to be asked. They don't make Kylie Control feel comfortable, and that really pisses me off. It really pisses me off because Kylie Control has really put her heart into what she creates and what she puts out there and the message she tries to convey, either through music or being an actress. And I say this because I watched Kylie Control ever since she was 9. When she used to sit at home and she used to watch Descendants and she used to dream of being her favorite Disney princess. What's wrong with that? And then she starts this YouTube channel to get noticed, and in less than a year has 500,000 subscribers. What's wrong with that? Kylie could lend me some of those subscribers, to be honest. The thing is, I've just loved this so much. You know, Disney's been a way of life for me for forever. You know, this is no act. What you see in the background there with the Mickey Mouses and the Minnie Mouses and the Stuffies, this is who I am. You know, I could come on here, I could be like everybody else and perceive myself for being an asshole and say, "Oh, welcome to Descendants and Zombies. Descendants and Zombies is going to be like this, and Descendants and Zombies doesn't have to be like this. This happened because it shouldn't have happened." You know, I don't want to be like that. If you think there's going to be mermaids inside of that vortex, more power to you. If you think there's a chance there's going to be pirates inside of that vortex, more power to you. I believe it just as much as you do. Because I think there is so much of a chance to create off of Descendants and Zombies. There is so much of a chance for us to feel inspired by Descendants and Zombies. So why take that away from anybody who loves Descendants and Zombies as much as what they do? I have never wanted to take that away from anybody. I've wanted to encourage it. I think pirates settling in Seabrook would be a beautiful thing for us to experience, and experience together and talk about for many years to come. There's a 4-year release window, by the way, for those of you who haven't heard, for Zombies 5, which means that will bring us up to 2028. So the way I look at it is, if I have to sit on this podcast every day for the rest of my life and talk about Descendants and Zombies having a 4-year release window and release one video per day about Descendants and Zombies, then I don't see anything wrong with that. It's going to be fun. And if we have 365 days, 1 year to wait between now and Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland, more power to Disney. It will give me more time to create beautiful videos and attract more fans of Descendants and Zombies, because I know they do exist out there. And I know there is somebody going to hit the subscribe button. There's somebody going to put up over 1,000 views on this YouTube channel today, because they too love Descendants and Zombies. And it really gets me how some of those beautiful friendships of all time have been created and derived off of Descendants and Zombies and this beautiful passion. I mean, people are getting off the school bus for the first day of kindergarten, the first day of grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and they're just asking the simple question of if you are a fan of Descendants and Zombies. And if the answer is yes, you hit it off and you're friends for the rest of your life. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I wish more of this would happen. I wish more beautiful stories would be posted on discussion forums about how people have been friends for their entire life because of Descendants and Zombies. People have been friends for their entire life because they believe in the powerful messages that Descendants and Zombies represent. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the message of Zombies was always second chances, was always hope, was that a girl could fall in love with a zombie, even under the most bizarre of circumstances, because there were a lot of factors in Zombies that were keeping Zed and Addison apart. How people believed at one point that humans and zombies couldn't coexist in Seabrook, because they were separated by an electric fence after a huge lime soda plantation explosion. The thing was, as crazy as those circumstances were, they didn't care. And they didn't care what everybody thought of them. They just wanted to be together for forever. So why can't you have that same withstillment in your mind? It's because of these critics. Because these critics are filled with a lot of jealousy. They get a satisfaction out of criticizing Descendants of Zombies. And I don't want to do that for you. If I'm going to do anything on this show, I'm going to encourage you that there is hope out there for everybody, even when it seems like hope is lost. You know, oftentimes on my friends' Facebook pages, I will always comment, and I will leave the most inspirational comments because I know what they're going through. And even though they don't realize it, I know them better than they know themselves. They've never given me credit for knowing them better than they know themselves. But it gives me great satisfaction to know that I posted a comment filled with encouragement and an encouraging vibe to let them know that their day is going to be okay, and whatever they're going through, they are eventually going to make sense of, and they will find their light. I just did that last night, actually, for one of my very good friends who feels lost a lot of the time. And the thing is, she's not alone. And if you're feeling the same way, you're not alone either, because Descendants and Zombies has represented a second chance for all of us. It's represented hope, if anything. And it's the first Disney Channel franchise to do that since I don't know what. Because nothing has ever encouraged us as much as what Descendants and Zombies have left us encouraged. I mean, yes, High School Musical encourages us that dreams are possible and dreams do come true. But when did we ever hear Gabriella and Troy say they loved each other? We didn't hear that until Zed and Addison said it at the end of Zombies 4, just before Zed was going to zombie out. I mean, we didn't hear, Troy saying that he loved Gabriella so much when he was leaving, or she was leaving for a different career pursual or whatever it was when she left East High, it was years ago. I mean, we didn't hear him say that. He just went to see her. But did he ever say the words, I love you? No, he didn't. Did anybody in a Disney script ever say the words, I love you? No. So I think that this franchise has inspired us to believe more than we've ever believed before. So why are we going to be critics of it and discourage you from your hopes and dreams? I've never ever wanted to do that. All I've ever wanted you to do is hit the subscribe button because you love Descendants and Zombies. I've never wanted you to hit the subscribe button because of me. I've wanted you to hit the subscribe button because of Descendants and Zombies, because you know that you're a fan of Descendants and Zombies. I'm happy you're here. I love creating these videos for you. If there was one thing I could do every single day of my life for the rest of my life, it will be talk about Descendants and Zombies. And you share in that same passion. You wouldn't be here if you didn't share in the same passion. You would have never hit my subscribe button if you didn't share in the same passion. I want to say thank you to each and every person who ever has hit the subscribe button and taken a chance on me, because when I felt like all hope was lost, I knew I had each and every one of you to help me make sense of it. And that means more to me than any of you will ever know or ever realize. I have a friend that tells me that she loves me all the time. And she tells me, I love you more than you'll ever know. And that's the thing. I will never know how much she loves me. And you guys will never know how much I love you for being here and being fans of Descendants and Zombies. The thing is, I've always loved Descendants and Zombies from the very first moment that I saw it because of what it represented. Because it represented second chances, and it represented hope, and it represented that one could find a dream no matter how unreachable that dream may seem, no matter how dark and gloomy it is out there today. The thing is, there's always an opportunity to spread a message of kindness and a message of hope, because kindness really does go further in this lifetime. And I wish there were more people out there, and people would find these videos that would spread a message of kindness, because the more help that we offer somebody to make sense of their own life, like Descendants of Zombies has encouraged us to do, the better off we're all going to be. And I want to say thank you to everybody who has helped me spread that message of kindness, because I never ever thought that my message of kindness would be heard by so many people and be watched by so many people every single day. I will be back later on this afternoon with another great video where I will talk about Descendants of Zombies, which I hope you will join me for, because I have a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes. And I am really excited about the future of Descendants of Zombies, to find out what is inside of that vortex, to find out how much deeper Nova and Victor can and will eventually fall in love. I am really excited about the future of these two franchises. I'm really excited to see if we'll see a torch passed between Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker's character Red and Chloe to somebody else coming up in the franchise like Pink, played by Liamani Segura. I look forward to meeting Liamani Segura and seeing what she's going to be offering to the franchise, because I think she has a lot to offer to this franchise. It's an incredible time to be a fan of Descendants, because never before have we seen so many incredible characters seeing their introduction into the Descendants franchise, and I'm excited to be a part of history, because this really is what this is history. And we are all going to be a part of history, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that you will allow me to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies on this incredible journey that you've had me on for the better part of a decade. A decade of lineage, a decade of power, a decade of triumph, and a decade of unforgettable memories that I have forever cherished because of each and every one of you and with you. And it really has been an honor to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies and help you make sense of these really beautiful franchises, because these franchises are filled with passion. They don't deserve to be criticized. Kylie Cantrell does not deserve to be opening up her eyes every morning, looking up at critical reviews of her music and her acting, because she's filled with passion. And passion that I'm incredibly proud to sit behind this podcast microphone and talk about. I think Kylie Cantrell actually should call me. I think Kylie Cantrell, Meg Donnelly, Milo Manheim, all of them should call me and sit down and talk with me about their careers, because I will put it out there in the way they want to put out there. I'm the greatest podcast host in the history of podcasting, and I am proud to be it, because I don't sit in front of a microphone with a piece of paper and a pencil and critique Descendants of Zombies after having written 500 pre-written notes and tell you, this is what I liked about the movie, this is what I didn't like about the movie, this is what should have happened, this is what should have never happened, because that's a bunch of nonsense, and it points you in the most wrong and unpredictable direction that I could ever point you in. I don't want to do that. I want to talk about Descendants of Zombies for what it's worth, what it really means to each and every one of you, because I know what it's like to be you. I know what it's like to be a fan of Descendants of Zombies and be excited for premieres, be excited for the Worlds Collide Tour, and how you show up because you're a fan filled with so much passion for your favorite stars. Malachi, Freya, Meg, Milo, Kylie, Malia, Ruby, who I miss dearly being a part of the Descendants franchise. I don't know how many times I've said this, and I know I sound like a broken record, but you can't do Descendants 5 without Ruby. It'll be done, because production's wrapped for Descendants 5. But is it done as powerfully as what it could have been done? I really don't know. Guys, thank you so much for all the love and support you have shown this YouTube channel. I honestly don't know where I'd be without each and every one of you. Your dedication to me and this YouTube channel is beyond anything that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I honestly know that this show would not be here if not for your continuous amount of love and support that you show. It is a really dark and gloomy day this morning. The sky is brightening up a little bit, but it's so dark and gloomy out there. But just knowing that you're here gives this YouTube channel an incredible amount of warmth and incentive to create videos on this very dark and gloomy day. And I will be back later on this afternoon with more to say in relation to Descendants of Zombies, which I hope that you will join me for, because I really do believe there's never enough kindness or enough kind words seen or said in this world. But you can help me make a difference by hitting the subscribe button. It is really an honor of mine to be here for you. I never ever thought this show would get to this point with over 3,000 subscribers, 2,000 watch hours, and over 50,000 views. That's incredible. Thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel, because I honestly don't know where I'd be without your incredible amount of love and support that you have continuously showed to this YouTube channel. Keep on being kind to one another. Keep kindness in your heart, as I will keep you in mind, and we will talk again later on this afternoon, because I've got a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes, the rumored release windows, which are suggesting that Zombies 5 will not happen until as late as 2028, and of course we know Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland will be happening in July of 2026. We just just don't have a definite release date for this one, which makes it more exciting for every Descendants fan out there. But to be honest with each and every one of you, I'm excited for Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland. I think the plot has never looked better. The sound of the music has never seemed to look better. With Liamani Segura and Kylie Control doing a remix of Life is Sweeter With You Are, it's just a rumor with no clarification. I'm really excited about that because life really is sweeter when we all are, and we can really make a difference in somebody's life. And even the smallest little impact that you make on somebody's life can really show a little bit of kindness that may be needed when you least expect it. So be kind to one another, keep kindness in your heart as I will keep you in mine, and we will talk again later on this afternoon, because kindness really does go a long way in this world, because life really is sweeter when all of us are. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will talk again in just a few hours from now.